Hi, ladies and gentlemen, fellow traders. Welcome to another episode of Weekly Forex Outlook with Chart Engineering Pro. We really appreciate you for taking the time to watch this video, and we do not take it for granted at all. If you haven't yet subscribed or you are new to this channel, kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any content we post here. And if you also find value with what we share here, be sure to like, drop your comments, share your views, and share this video to your fellow traders or anyone who would find this information useful. We'll also drop a free Telegram link in the description of this video where we'll share updates of these setups as the week unfolds. Without wasting much time, let's have a quick recap of last week's setups discussed in the previous video before we dive into next week's analysis. So stay tuned. This is natural gas. We have this position where we took this sell and price is currently running smoothly. We've eventually hit our TP1 and we are still going to continue to hold this position. We've taken off some profits off the table and then we are going to continue to hold this position, and all as price keeps dropping, we'll be looking for more selling opportunities to drive price to the final TP we have below there. This is NZDUSD. We're holding this position, and I think after the de-escalation news, and I think the NZD's rate, Bank of New Zealand's rate that was released last week also triggered this massive move that's eventually going to hit our break-even for NZDUSD. This is also NZDCHF. We're holding this position as well, and we also got impacted by the same high impact news, even though price had already hit the TP1. So this was also a break even. And this is EURUSD where we took a loss on this position. We're anticipating that price is going to clear these lows and then give us more selling opportunities. But then after the de-escalation news, everything just shifted. So we would like to take caution and see how the market unfolds. So we'll break it down and see how it's going to go for the coming week. So let's see what we have for the economic calendar for the coming week. So on Monday there's no high impact news. On Tuesday we have the USD core PPI. On Wednesday there's no high impact news as well. On Thursday we're going to have the Australian dollar employment change and then the GDP for GBP. On Friday there's no high impact news as well, so we're going to have we might have a low volatility week, but then due to the negotiations that is yet to go on concerning the de-escalation, might also create some volatilities in the market as well. So let's look out for that. So let's jump into the charts and see what we have for the coming week. This is DXY. At the moment, DXY is developing something totally different, and this is on a daily, or let me say weekly time frame, or daily time frame. And as we can see, price is currently giving us some waves. So we're going to use the Elliott wave theory to analyze this for DXY. As we can see, we have this impulse here, this impulse, and all these are corrections. So this is a correction. We have another impulse, and all we saw here is also a correction. So going into next week or the weeks ahead, we are likely going to see some impulsive move downside from here. Should the de-escalation hold and should we get more rate cuts from Fed, we will likely see more dips or more shorts for the DXY for the coming week. And as we can see, after all this consolidation or all this correction, the next move coming is going to be very impulsive, just like we saw here and here. So let's go to, I think, yes, so this is the correction that developed. I would say it's a running flat, or no, this is an expanded flat correction on DXY, and this ABC is wave W, or let me say wave A, and ABC is a wave B or the wave X, and then this 5 wave is wave C or wave Y, which is indicating clearly that price is about to drop massively, and this has also broken the trend line, which is an indication that we are preparing to go downside. So going into next week, what we are going to look out for is a possible pullback into this area of interest, to look for selling opportunities from here and take it to the downside. Should price pull back a little bit higher to the second area of interest above, we'll be interested in taking the sales from there as well to the downside. This can only be invalidated if we get price to break or clear these highs and then continues upside. That is when the de-escalation does not hold, the talks between the US and then Iran does not hold, and in some way somehow the war resumes, then we are likely going to see some bullishness, or we're going to see some bullishness on DXY. But if the talks succeed and the de-escalation goes through, we are likely going to see more dips for DXY, which means the Euro XXX USD pairs are going to see some bullish movements, and then USD XXX pairs are going to see more of bearish movements for the coming weeks or week. This is EURUSD. So EURUSD, considering what is happening or likely going to happen on DXY, we have a reaction from an area of interest, and we currently have the daily structure that has shifted here. So the daily structure has shifted right here. So what we are looking at, the daily structure has shifted right here. We are looking for it to a possible pullback to retest the structure point here, or should price pull back a bit deeper here, we're looking for buying opportunities to the upside for EURUSD. And if this happens, we are likely going to see a potential harmonic pattern. So we just have to wait for the C leg to form so that we see the particular pattern that is being developed on EURUSD. So this is going to be, if the harmonic pattern plays out, this is going to be our X, this is our A, and wherever this turns around is going to be our B leg. We're waiting for our C leg formation, then we go for our D leg. So whichever point is going to depending on where the B leg reverses, that's when we're going to determine the particular harmonic pattern that is likely going to develop on EURUSD. So these are various targets we have for EURUSD for the coming weeks. This is GBPUSD, and GBPUSD is also having like a similar reaction. So due to what is likely going to happen on DXY, we are likely going to see more bullishness on DXY, on GBPUSD, and I think GBPUSD also developed a nice running flat correction. If you go to Elliott wave, this is a running flat correction. So this is the pattern we have here. Oops. So this is the wave A, wave B, and wave C. So we are going to head upwards. So if you look at it closely, you can see that this is an impulsive move right here. We had this strong impulsive move here. Then we had all these correction, which is a running flat correction. And then we are going to get a continuation, which is going to also be an impulsive move. So we are likely going to see some aggressive move to the upside on GBPUSD. So going into next week, what we are going to look out for is a possible pullback into this area of interest. Then we look for buying opportunities to the upside. So we are waiting for a possible pullback into this area of interest, and we look for buying opportunities to the upside. Should price pull back a bit deeper into the second zone below, we'll still be interested in taking the buys from here to the upside on GBPUSD. This can only be invalidated if price finds its way to break below this zone and continues to the downside. Until then, we are now very bullish on GBPUSD. This is USDCHF. So USDCHF, considering what is happening on DXY, we are getting this reaction. I think we got this evening star formation from this area of interest right here. So we have this evening star formation with this strong bearish engulfing candle. So going into next week, we'll be looking for it to this is also a double top formation. It's a double top formation right here. So we are going to look for it to a possible pullback to retest the neckline on this double top, or a possible pullback to any of these areas, whether this zone or the second zone above. Then we'll look for selling opportunities to the downside for USDCHF. So we are bearish on USDCHF for the coming week. Should Should price break above this zone to the upside, then we know we are going bullish on USDCHF. This is NZDUSD, and NZDUSD now is giving us some bullish moves or bullish momentum due to DXY's likely or potential movement that's likely going to happen if the de-escalation holds. So should price go back to this very first zone, we will look for buying opportunities from here. Should it drop a bit further to the second zone, we'll still look for buying opportunities from here to the upside. So we are very bullish on NZDUSD as well. Should price break below this zone, then we know we are going bearish. Until then, we are bullish on NZDUSD for the coming week. This is EURJPY, and EURJPY is extremely bullish. I mean, the Japanese yen index is extremely bearish now, so we're going to see more bullishness on the XXXJPY pairs for the coming weeks ahead of us. So going into next week, what we are going to look out for is a possible pullback into this area of interest. This very first area of interest right here. To get a pullback here, we look for buying opportunities to the upside. Should it pull back a bit deeper into the second zone below, we will still be interested in taking the buys from there to the upside. So we are extremely bullish on EURJPY for the coming week. This is GBPJPY, and we have a similar setup as we have on EURJPY. So going into next week, we want a pullback into this zone, look for buying opportunities from here, or should price pull back a bit deeper, we'll still be interested in taking the buys from there as well. This can only shift bearish if price breaks below and clears this daily structure we have here and continue to the downside. Until then, we are extremely bullish on GBPJPY. This is AUDJPY, and AUDJPY is also extremely bullish now. So what we're going to look out for is a possible pullback into this area of interest, which will likely give us a potential harmonic pattern formation. So we are waiting for a possible pullback into this area of interest. To look for buying opportunities to the upside. Should price pull back a bit lower, we'll still be interested in taking the buys from here as well to the upside. So these are the various targets we have above. Should price break this zone, then we know we are going down for AUDJPY. We have here EURCAD, and EURCAD is extremely bullish now on monthly, weekly, daily, and 4 hours. It's extremely bullish. So it's the experience of us to look for only buying opportunities now. So we are looking forward to a possible pullback into this zone to look for buying opportunities to the various TPs we have above here. So we are extremely bullish on EURCAD for the coming week. Should price pull back a bit lower to the second zone below, we will still be interested in looking for the buys from there as well to the upside. This is AUDCAD, and AUDCAD is also extremely bullish now. So what we are going to wait for is a possible pullback into this very first area of interest. Look for buying opportunities from here to the upside, and then should price also pull back to the second zone below, we'll still be interested in looking for the buying opportunities there as well to the upside. Should price break below this daily structures we have here and counts for a retest, then we know we are going to the downside. So we are extremely bullish on AUDCAD for the coming week. This is GBPNZD, and in GBPNZD, we've had this very nice bullish rally from here. If you look at it on a weekly perspective is bearish, and now the daily perspective has also shifted bearish. So and price is also currently reacting from a strong area of interest. So going into next week, we are going to look forward to a possible reaction. The pullback has already started, so should we get any reversal pattern within this zone, or any reaction or any bearish confirmation from this zone, we will take ourselves from here to the downside. Should price violate this zone and break above the daily structure we have here, then we know that we are still going to continue bullish. Until then, we are going to look out for the bearish side of things for GBPNZD for the coming week. Sorry. This is EURNZD, and EURNZD has a similar setup as GBPNZD. As you can see here, this is a head and shoulder formation we see here, which for some reason it seems it has already played out. This is a head and shoulder, and right now price is retesting retested the neckline and has given us this strong bearish engulfing candle, which is looking like it's giving us an indication that price wants to take the sell side. So going into next week, we are going to look out for a possible lower high formation or a possible pullback into this area of interest once again, or any reversal pattern around this area of this zone. We'll look for selling opportunities from here to these various targets we have below here. So we are bullish on we are bearish on EURNZD. Should price also find its way above, should price react from this zone as well, we can look for sales from here as well to the downside. But then if price violates this and breaks this daily structure we have here, then we know we are heading, or the bullish side is continuing. So we are bearish on EURNZD and GBPNZD for the coming week. That is if we get the confirmations to sell. This is EURCHF, and EURCHF is still playing around this strong area of interest, and we are still going to be patient to see how price unfolds from here. Should price give us a daily structure shift here, if we get a daily structure shift here, we'll look forward to a possible lower high formation, then we'll look for selling opportunities to the downside. And or should we get the second possible scenario is if we get a double top formation, a head and shoulders, we get a double top formation here. Any reversal pattern, strong reversal pattern that develops here, we'll look for sales to the downside on EURCHF. Should price break above this zone, then we know we are continuing to the upside for EURCHF. This is CADCHF, and CADCHF has given us some nice daily shifts, and it's giving us a clear indication that price wants to go to the downside. So we're going to wait for a possible pullback to this first area of interest, look for sales from here to the TP we have here. Should price pull back a bit higher, we'll look for sales from there as well to the downside, and these are various TPs we have below, TP1, TP2 and TP3. Should price find its way to break above this zone, then we know we are continuing to the upside on CADCHF. This is Brent crude oil, and now that we are getting signs of de-escalation, we are likely going to see some bearishness or some retracements to some significant areas of interest. So if we look at this from the weekly perspective, we are likely going to see a possible harmonic pattern formation, and right now price is going to find its way to form a possible C leg. So this is the potential harmonic pattern that is developing. So this is our X, this is the A, this is the B, and now we are waiting for the C leg to develop, which is likely going to land in this area of interest. Then we'll look for bullish confirmations or bullish continuations from here to the upside. So what is likely going to happen is if this de-escalation succeeds, we are likely going to see a retracement back into the first TP is around $84 per barrel, and we also have $75 per barrel and then $66 per barrel. That is where this significant area of interest is, where we are likely going to see some bullishness from here. This bullishness can only be invalidated if price gives us a monthly candle closure below these structures we have, or a weekly candle closure below these structures. Then we know that we are heading downside. But if we don't get those reactions downside, then there's a possible economic event or something global might happen to drive crude oil back up to this is Brent crude oil around $121 per barrel, $136 per barrel, $159 per barrel, and then $187 per barrel. So if this price action plays out, then it means there's a possible escalation or some economic event in the horizon that is yet to happen. So if price makes its way into this area of interest, it might likely see some consolidations or some build up from here. Then something will just happen to shoot price up, just as we saw when the conflict started between America, Israel, and then Iran. So let's look out for that. So this going into next week, this is our game plan. We have this nice more like head and shoulder formation, and this is a daily time frame. So we're going to look for a possible pullback into this area of interest. Then we look for selling opportunities to this area of interest I'm talking about, which is between $66 to $75 per barrel. And this is going to be our TP1. So let's look out for that. That is if the de-escalation and the negotiations going on is able to go through, then we are likely going to see this bearishness or this pause, or let's say relief from crude oil prices for the coming weeks ahead of us. So we are going to be for now we're going to look out for the bearish side of things for Brent crude oil, and this is very similar to what we have on US oil as well. This can only continue bullish if price breaks above this zone and then continues to the upside as it was already moving. So we are going to be patient and see how price unfolds, but then for now we are bearish on Brent crude oil, targeting 66 to $75 per barrel area for a possible bullishness to start from there as well again. This is US oil. It also has a similar setup. So for US oil, you're likely going to see a butterfly pattern formation. So this is our X, this is our A, this is our B. We're waiting for a possible C leg to land in this area of interest, and then we look for a continuation to the upside. So for US oil, if you are looking for the bearish side, we are targeting $81 per barrel, and then that very significant area of interest lies between $61 per barrel to $70 per barrel. So this is where that significant area of interest is, where we are looking for it to see price drop to, and then some sort of economic event might happen to just drive price all the way up, where we're going to have the very first TP as $113 per barrel, the next TP around $140 per barrel, and then $150 per barrel for US oil. On to the next. So this is the game plan for US oil for the coming week. So we're going to look for a possible pullback into this area of interest, look for selling opportunities from here to the downside. So that's the game plan for the coming week on US oil. This bullishness can resume if we get price to break above this zone or above this daily structure, and then we continue to the upside. On to the next. This is US 30. So going into next week, due to the bearishness or the weakness in DXY, we are likely going to see, and due to the de-escalation of the war, we are likely going to see some bullishness kicking in the indices across the globe. So we're going to look forward to a possible pullback into this very first area of interest, and we look for buying opportunities to the upside. Should price pull back to the second zone below, we're going to look forward to a possible bullish move from here as well. This can only shift bearish if we invalidate these zones and then price finds a way to break below these zones, and we know we are bearish. Until then, we are extremely bullish for S&P 500 for the coming weeks. So all we're going to do is wait for the pullback and look for buying opportunities to the upside. This is NASDAQ, and we have a similar setup just as we had on S&P 500. So we're going to wait for a possible pullback into this very first area of interest. We'll look for buying opportunities to the upside. Should price pull back to this second zone below, we are still going to be interested in taking the buys from here to the upside. If price violates this zone, then we know we are heading down for NASDAQ. So this is also US 30, and US 30 has a similar setup as the others, as S&P 500 and NASDAQ. So we're going to wait for this pullback into this area of interest, look for buying opportunities upside. Should price pull back to the second zone below, we will still be interested in taking the buys from there as well to the upside for US 30. Should price break below this zone, continue downside, then we know we are bearish on US 30. And this is US 2000, and it's similar to the rest, the earlier ones we had. So we are still going to look for a pullback into this first area of interest, look for buying opportunities upside. Should price pull back to the second zone as well, we'll still be interested in taking the buys from here to the upside. And this might form a potential harmonic pattern, so we just have to wait for the potential C leg to form, then we look for a continuation to the upside. This can only be considered bearish if we violate this zone and then we continue downside. So we are extremely bullish on US 2000 for the coming week. This is JPN225 or the Nikkei 225. This is also forming a potential harmonic pattern. So what we are going to look out for is a possible C leg formation, a possible pullback. This is already playing out, so I think the C leg is already formed. So what you're going to look for is a possible pullback to this very area of interest, and we look for buying opportunities upside on JPN225. Should price pull back to the second zone below, we'll still be interested in taking this buys from there. So this is the potential. This is the harmonic pattern that is developing. So this is the X, A, B, C. And looking forward to a continuation of the D leg. So it's either a way to have a bat pattern formation, an alt bat pattern, or a crab pattern formation. So we just have to wait for a possible pullback. Then we look for buying opportunities to the upside. So we are extremely bullish on JPN225. Should price break below this and come down, most likely we are headed bearish. So the last one is Australia 200. So for Australia 200, it's also similar. So what you're going to look out for is a possible pullback to this very first area of interest and look for buying opportunities from here to the upside. Should price pull back a bit deeper to the second zone below, we'll still be interested in taking the buys from here to the upside. This can only shift bearish if price breaks below this zone and continues to the downside. Thank you so much for sticking through to the end of this video. I really appreciate you for your time, and I'd like to wish all of us a profitable week ahead of us, and we should all trade safe and sound, apply proper risk management, and I'll catch you guys on another episode. So take good care of yourself. Don't forget to like, drop your comments, share your views, and then check the description box for the link to the free Telegram group where we'll be sharing updates of these setups as the week unfolds. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.